Have you ever felt lonely, even when surrounded by familiar faces? You may not be isolated, but when the evening comes and no one calls, a silent emptiness settles in. Moments that seem ordinary, a quiet dinner, an unanswered message, can weigh heavier on your heart than any storm. Here's the truth: loneliness doesn't discriminate. And the most dangerous part? You often don't realize it's there, until it becomes a quiet voice echoing in your mind. In today's podcast episode, you're invited on a special journey. Discover 5 simple yet powerful ways to overcome loneliness, whether you live alone or simply feel emotionally distant from others. We're not promising a miracle. But what you're about to hear could reshape your inner world, using nothing more than small, everyday actions. Here's what you'll find. Practical ways to reconnect with daily life. Gentle strategies to boost senior mental health. And thoughtful steps to ease aging isolation, without expensive tools or technology. Welcome to Health First 365, your go-to channel for simple, heartfelt guidance on living well, living fully, and living with meaning. We focus on senior wellness, mental health for seniors, and how to care for yourself or your loved ones, day by day. If you've ever searched for help with loneliness in seniors, or you've noticed signs of elderly depression in someone close to you, this video might be the quiet turning point you've been waiting for. Stay with us. Your journey is just beginning. You know, loneliness isn't just a fleeting feeling. It can linger quietly, stretching across weeks or even months, silently wearing down both your mind and your body. As we age, it becomes easier to feel left behind, as if the world is spinning forward without us having a place in it. Many people believe that if they're not crying or visibly sad, then they're fine. But science tells a very different story. Loneliness is a mental and emotional state that can directly impact your physical health, and its effects are far from minor. When loneliness persists, the brain increases production of stress hormones like cortisol. This leads to a weakened immune system, making us more vulnerable to illness. Studies have found a strong correlation between loneliness and memory loss, especially in middle-aged and older adults. Those living in emotional isolation are also at significantly higher risk of elderly depression. And it doesn't stop there. Loneliness affects daily habits. People may skip meals, become inactive, suffer from insomnia, or even develop heart-related conditions. Over time, this leads to a dangerous cycle. The more lonely we feel, the less likely we are to reach out. The more we withdraw, the more isolated we become. It's a silent spiral, and it can be devastating. But here's the truth that matters most: loneliness is not your destiny. It's not a sentence handed down by age. No matter your stage in life, whether you live alone or have few people nearby, you still have the power to step out of the shadow of isolation. In the next part of this podcast, I'll be sharing with you small, simple things, no tech required, no money needed, that can help you reconnect with yourself, with your surroundings, and with others in a meaningful way. And once you begin that journey, you'll see something remarkable. One small shift in your daily routine can gradually push loneliness away, and make space for calm, for joy, and for that unmistakable feeling that you are still living a meaningful life. There is something seemingly small, yet incredibly powerful when it comes to healing the heart. It is this: step outside every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. It may sound simple, but you'd be surprised how much your mood can shift just by walking out your front door. Many people, especially after retirement or when living alone, tend to stay indoors all day. The windows may be open, the TV might be on, but the world starts to feel distant. Over time, each day begins to feel the same. The mind slips into a kind of quiet slumber. But if you simply walk around the block, sit briefly on a bench at the local park, or stand by the porch to take a deep breath, you are giving yourself a chance to reconnect with life. The sunlight through the trees, the chirping of birds, the passing sound of traffic, or even just a glance or smile from a stranger, these are all bioelectric sparks that awaken your emotions. It's a form of silent connection, but it's incredibly real. It doesn't require long conversations or deep relationships. It only requires that you show up, be present, and breathe with the rhythm of the world outside. When you maintain this habit daily, even for just a few minutes, you'll start to notice subtle but powerful changes. Your mood lightens. Negative thoughts lose their grip. And your body feels a bit more alive, not because of intense exercise, but because you've reactivated your inner energy. And if today you're still hesitant, thinking you have no reason to go outside, please remember this: you don't need a reason. Stepping outside is an act of kindness you give to yourself. It's a gentle reminder that you are still alive, still present, and still worthy of experiencing life fully. After you've taken the first step of going outside and reconnecting with life, there's something else you can do to bring light into your days: revive an old passion or start a new hobby. All of us have something that once made our hearts sing, a quiet hobby, an unpursued dream, something that made time disappear when we were immersed in it. But life got busy. Work, family, obligations, they all came first, and those little joys were left behind. Now, with time returning to your hands, it's the perfect moment to bring those things back. To rediscover what once made you feel truly alive. I once met a 70-year-old man who spent every morning in his yard with a small set of watercolors and brushes. He told me he'd never taken an art class. But every time he painted the flowers in his garden, he felt peace. It gave him a reason to get up. A reason to look forward to each day. Or the woman I knew who wrote down the lyrics of old songs every week, partly to keep her memory sharp, partly to hold on to melodies from her youth. These were quiet, private rituals, but they nourished her soul in ways no one else could see. You might love gardening, knitting, photography, journaling, trying new recipes, or learning a musical instrument. Whether you've never tried it or you gave it up long ago, don't be afraid to start again. Because hobbies have no age limit. And whenever you're doing something that brings you joy, you're healing yourself, no pills required. When you're doing what you love, you're not caught up in the past or worrying about the future. You are fully alive in the present, and that's something many people spend a lifetime searching for. You don't have to do something grand. Just something small, but done each day, and you'll see life begin to bloom again from within. As you begin stepping outside and rekindling your old hobbies, you'll start to notice something important: we don't just need connection with nature or ourselves. We need connection with others. It doesn't have to be deep conversations or lifelong friendships. Sometimes, just being in the same space as other people is enough to soften the weight of loneliness. You can join a local Tai Chi or wellness club, a weekend art class, a gentle yoga group, or even a quiet book circle or tea gathering in your neighborhood. Just being there, even if you don't speak much, even if you simply listen, is enough to remind your heart, you are not alone. Presence has more power than we realize. It creates a space where you feel seen, acknowledged. And that subtle interaction, a nod, a smile, might be the emotional anchor that carries you through the day. Studies have shown that seniors who regularly take part in community activities have up to 30% lower rates of depression compared to those who remain socially isolated. That's not by chance. When you're connected to others, your brain releases positive hormones like oxytocin and serotonin, which improve mood, reduce anxiety, enhance sleep, and even strengthen immunity. If you feel hesitant because you don't know anyone or aren't good at starting conversations, start small. Just show up. Sit next to someone. Smile. You don't have to be outgoing. You just need to open your heart a little bit more. And if, for health or other reasons, you can't go out often, there are online communities built just for older adults. You can join a video call, share experiences, listen to stories, or read together. Technology, when used wisely, can be a powerful bridge. Always remember, you are not invisible. And somewhere, someone is waiting to sit beside you. All you have to do is take the first step. We weren't meant to live in isolation. And simply by showing up, even quietly, you create change. Not just for yourself, but for others too. Of course, there will be days when going outside simply isn't possible. Maybe the weather is bad, your health is off, or your body just needs a little rest. But that doesn't mean you have to disconnect from the world. Today, we're lucky to have ways to stay connected without leaving home. And sometimes, a simple phone call is enough to brighten your entire day. You can pick up the phone and call your child, your grandchild, or an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while. You don't need a big reason to start. Just say, "I just wanted to hear your voice," or, "You crossed my mind today, so I thought I'd call." That alone can open a beautiful, heartfelt conversation. And you might be surprised to find that the person on the other end was hoping for a moment like this too. Don't hesitate because you think you're bothering them. Don't wait for someone else to reach out first. When you take the initiative, you're not only warming someone else's heart, you're also sending yourself a quiet message: I'm still here. I still want connection. If your children or grandchildren live far away, try scheduling regular video calls, maybe every Sunday, or for birthdays and special moments. Even 5 minutes of seeing a loved one smile on screen can dissolve a whole day's worth of loneliness. You can also join online communities for older adults. These groups are often warm and welcoming, where people share their daily stories, reminisce together, read books aloud, or simply listen. Technology, if you're willing to embrace it, can be a strong and beautiful bridge that connects you to the outside world. And most importantly, every call reminds you of this one thing: you are still loved, and you still matter to someone. Wherever you are, whatever your circumstances, you can keep the threads of connection in your life intact. Just one greeting, one call, one glance through a screen, and your heart will feel the warmth. At the heart of it all, there's one relationship we often forget to nurture: the relationship with ourselves. Even if you go outside every day, join community groups, or talk regularly with your family, there will still be moments when you are alone. And in those moments, what truly determines whether you feel lonely or not depends on how you relate to your own inner world. Some people live alone but don't feel lonely, because they feel full from within. Others may be surrounded by family and still feel a deep emptiness. That's why the key is not how many people are around you, but whether you are connected to your own soul. One of the most powerful yet simple ways to reconnect is by journaling every morning or evening. Just a few lines. You can write down how you're feeling, what you're grateful for today, or something small that made you smile. Writing is a gentle way to listen to yourself, without judgment. You can also meditate for a few minutes each day. No need for complicated techniques. Just sit quietly, breathe slowly, and feel each breath pass through your body. That's your moment to return to yourself, free from the past or worries about the future. Ask yourself each morning, what do I need today? What would bring me peace? How can I care for myself today? You don't need answers right away. But asking these questions and listening within is how you rebuild the bridge to your inner self. Fulfillment doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within, from knowing that you are living in alignment with your values, whether or not someone is physically by your side. And once you learn how to truly be with yourself, you will stop fearing silence. Because you'll realize, even when you are alone, you are not lonely. In the end, if there's only one thing you remember from everything we've talked about, let it be this: loneliness is not a sentence. It's not a conclusion, and it's certainly not a destiny tied to age or circumstances. It's simply a signal, a quiet whisper from within saying, I need to be seen. I need connection. And the beautiful part is, just one small shift can spark a major change inside your emotional world. One step outside, one silent cup of tea, one short phone call, one hurried journal entry. These are all tiny seeds of reconnection. You don't need a crowd around you. You just need the right connections, at the right time, in the right way, to remind your heart that it still belongs in this world. If you're wondering, where do I start? Here are some practical, gentle steps you can take starting today. Begin by creating a steady daily rhythm for yourself. In the morning, play your favorite song. Water the plants. Feed your pet. Walk around the garden. A home that moves, even just a little, helps a soul feel less empty. If your children or grandkids are too busy to call often, don't wait, be the one to reach out first. A message like, "Thinking of you today," or "Just wanted to hear your voice," can open up a heartfelt conversation. Taking initiative is not a burden, it's a gift you give to connection. If your social circle has grown smaller, try reaching out to an old friend, a former coworker, or even a neighbor. A card, a hello, or an invitation for tea may be all it takes to reawaken a new relationship. If health or circumstances keep you indoors, transform your space into a sanctuary for the spirit. Hang up a photo that makes you smile. Play the radio in the morning. Schedule weekly video calls with your grandkids. A room that breathes with emotion can keep loneliness at bay, even when you're physically alone. And finally, start connecting through the tiniest gestures. A nod to someone passing by, a "How are you?" to a neighbor, a sincere thank you to the cashier. Warmth doesn't come from grand gestures, it comes from genuine presence. You don't have to change your whole life. Just begin with one small thing, and do it consistently. The bigger things will follow. If you've ever felt lonely, please remember this: you are not weak. You are not invisible. Loneliness is simply a quiet bell that rings inside your heart, reminding you to return to yourself and to what truly matters. Everyone experiences it, at any age, in any stage of life. But what defines us is not how many times we've felt alone, but how we choose to live afterward. You can begin today, with one small act. Write a few honest lines in your journal. Take a 10-minute walk in the morning sun. Call an old friend. You don't need to rush, and you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real, and consistent. Because you are still valuable. You are still loved. And you are always worthy, not just of existing, but of truly living. If you're looking for simple, science-backed, and heartfelt ways to take care of senior mental health, to understand the depth of loneliness in seniors, or to recognize early signs of elderly depression, we invite you to explore more videos right here on Health First 365. We believe that mental health for seniors is the foundation for joyful aging. And that healing aging isolation doesn't come from theory alone, but through real connection, community, and compassion. If today's episode touched something in you, please consider subscribing. And if you know someone who might need this message, share this video with them. Sometimes, just a few words are enough to ease someone's heart. At any stage of life, we all deserve to live a life of meaning. And the journey? You don't have to walk it alone.